one of the most secret topics that men dislike to talk about is the financial aspect of the adventure when you are dating abroad. And whoever it is, I mean, we speak about Ukrainian, Russian, or Belarus women. And the question is, what is the level of financial help that you will give to such women? And when? And with which type of relationship? So this is a big question because the men, most of the time, don't know what to do. They keep this quite secret. There is a lot of stack, in fact, behind this. And this video is about this, to discuss every aspect about international long-distance relationship. Could be just you have a remote relationship before the marriage, or you are just during the dating time. What to do, and what not to do. I watched a video recently from a marriage agency, and I was absolutely scandalized by what a young Ukrainian woman, probably an interpreter, was telling when she was answering about the question, what should be the monthly allowance you give as a Western man to your Ukrainian woman? And she was answering something like, you know what, during the first month you should give for $500, and after you should give $2,000. And for me, I'm absolutely scandalized. I will explain you everything about this. Why I am so scandalized by this woman saying, oh, the first month you should give $500 and after $2,000, because that's very dangerous. It puts you on the wrong feet from the very scratch of any relationship, any type of relationship with a Ukrainian, Russian, or Belarus woman. For me, it's a big concern because it puts all your relationship and a marriage at stake. It's very simple. But first, let's try to understand which type of situation you can face. First of all, you have an online communication. And online communication, this is where a lot of men are misleading the whole complete thing. Online communication is not a relationship. A relationship, and now on this channel I start to repeat this again and again and again, is when you have achieved intimacy. Intimacy is when a man and a woman are in a bed to make some little exercise. Exactly what is about a relationship, it starts like this. Before, zero. The answer of the question is very simple. You, not only you don't have to, but you absolutely shouldn't send any money. No monthly allowance, nothing. And if the woman is asking you directly, of course, and indirectly, so the usual, I have a lot of problem, I have some problem in plumbery, my car is broken, or everything like this. So this is the easiest part. The easiest part is to say, no relationship, you don't send anything. And if you send something, and I'm quite against this, maybe some flowers. Yes, you have to send some flowers for the Women's Day in Ukraine. You have to do such a thing. Yes, very likely. So that was the easiest part, the first part, defining you have a relationship or you don't have. If you don't have, you don't send some money. That's very easy. And you respect and follow the rules. But because this is where a lot of men don't follow the rules. The second type of is when you have a real relationship, which means that you have had intimacy with this woman I would be clear about this. If you have a remote relationship, I mean that there is no project. There are two types of projects. You marry her, and most of the time she will leave her countries and she will make the move to join you, and of course you will live together, probably in the USA or Canada, Australia, in Europe. Or second things, you can live together in a country or in another, a third point country. That's what it is. But now, if you are maintaining a long-distance relationship, I advise you to not set up a monthly allowance to this woman. In this second part, we have two ways. You are embarrassed with your Western mindset that you should be the provider and you should help this woman and you should have a specific role, but because you think that this is your personality, but in fact it comes from your culture. Second one is that in fact you are just taking a woman, especially if she's younger than you, of 10 years or more, and you are giving a monthly allowance, and you come, I would say, every month or every 2 months, and in fact it's a form of sugar daddy. You have a sugar baby, and for me you should avoid this because the basic every time is very simple. They had lived before you with their means, with their wages, with their condition, and they can continue without you. That was in the past like this, and it could be the same in the future. Doesn't matter if you are in the surroundings or not. The third part is when you have a project. Most of the time it's a marriage project, and you are in the dating time, and the question is what I should do with my money, with this woman, because I am serious, I love her, she loves me, I know that she's a genuine woman, no problem with this. And the other question, and we will treat this a little later, is how much? This is a very important question. The main risk is this one. When you set up a monthly allowance with automatic transfer, you start to be stuck in such type of to be the provider. And for example, if you are dating a woman, you never know. I have a man I know been ripped off of $40,000 during 1 year, and he was totally and truly believed that he will get married with this woman, but he was just a victim of a scam. And this scam happened also because he was giving a monthly allowance. And in the end, the woman married a local Ukrainian guy. And I can bet $10,000 that this guy was very aware about the situation, and he was knowing that she was dating a French guy, and he was enjoying also the money of this French guy, knowing that her girlfriend was having monthly money. So the risk for you is this one, is if something happened because you believe that this is a Disney World, but maybe she has an other sweetheart or maybe more, and she still continue to date and you don't know. And no, don't tell me that you are sure. It's not true. You cannot be sure. Most of the time, the serious woman will have minimum one other sweetheart, most of the time. So if she decides to go away, maybe she will be late to tell you that in fact she has chosen another man. And during this time you are still paying the monthly allowance because you want to be the good guy. If you give a crazy amount of money, because $2,000 it's a crazy amount of money, and I will explain this in the last part, you are just in fact scammed. And the pressure on her could be high because her colleagues, her friends, maybe her mom, maybe a boyfriend, new boyfriend, will push a lot of pressure on her to still get this $2,000. Because a lot of people, everyone concerned could retrieve some benefit from this amount. As you understand, you are setting up the relationship in the wrong format, and you take all the risk on your shoulders. And the problem is behind the problem of money, because money comes back and forth, and you can have more money later. So if you are scammed, it's just money. But the problem is you should take care about your self-esteem. This is today in the Western world the most valuable things that you can have, and that protect your health, protects you from many things, heart attack, the depression, nervous breakdown, so on. This question of self-esteem is absolutely essential, and you should protect you. Don't fall in the syndrome to be the good guy, the provider, helping the poor, and so on. No monthly allowance. Whatever the story is, you don't have any relationship, real relationship, no monthly allowance. You have a remote relationship, no monthly allowance. You can give some money from time to time, make some gifts, and so on. You have a real relationship, and you have a project, and generally speaking, it's about her to move with you. No monthly allowance. But of course, you can help. You can give from time to time when you meet. You can give her some money. And of course, you can send some money if she's facing a special situation. And for example, she needs $200 to make the visa or passport or something like this. Of course, you have to help in this situation. During this time, until you are not living together, no monthly allowance, no automatic transfer. That is the rule I propose you. I know that many men are failing on this rule. So before publishing the video, I rewatched it all, and finally I decided toward this part, because when you are in a marriage seeker and you are in the pre-marriage time phase, you likely want to spend maximum time with your lady. And this is absolutely what you have to do. You have to spend maximum time with this woman to know if she's marriage material, and she also needs to discover you and to know you better. And only time will show. At this moment, it's likely, especially if you are an American guy, you don't have a lot of time. Generally, American guys have 3 weeks of vacation. Therefore, you would like to spend more time, and this lady, maybe she's not free as you can imagine. If she has a work, she maybe don't have too much vacation, she cannot take a vacation as she wants. This is what generally happens for, I would say, minimum half of the Ukrainian women. And in the same time, knowing at her job that she's dating a foreigner because there is a moment she will face her boss, and it can put her career or her business at stake at this moment. So there is a moment where you will ask yourself, okay, she's earning, let's say, $400. I am not so poor, and I can give her this $400. And you will maybe come to this conclusion. But if you come to this conclusion, you don't talk about this before you are sure. You don't tell to a Ukrainian woman, stop your work, I will give you $400, because you are engaging your words. And for her, it's damned important. Do you imagine if she stops her job and 2 months after you say, okay, bye-bye, I don't want to meet you. It's unfair for her. So at this moment, before talking, before exploring this, you need yourself to be sure. And I think that what could be fair is to give her an advance of 3 months. So if something bad happens, she can have some money to come back, or you will give her more money later if you disengage yourself for a reason or for another, especially if she has stopped her job I think this is the minimum you can do, is to help her financially the time that she recovers. If you are a gentleman, I think that you should do such a thing, really. So myself, I didn't meet such situation because my ex-wife had nice relationship with her boss, and she was trusted, and she could go away as she wanted. I suppose that she took some day off without wages, and she arranged it because she trusted me enough, and I told you previously that I was dropping some money each time on a weekly basis payment. You could consider that the advantage is that she can step in a language course to improve and enhance her knowledge, most of the English, but it doesn't matter. And then you could even consider that it will be cheapest to do such a thing in Ukraine, because basically probably she could have some courses for $300 a month, and she can have quite nice English. So you need to think about this, but you need to be sure, you need to have established a lot of trust, and you shouldn't have any issues with trust. So that's very difficult, because most of the time the guy who are too much confident can make big mistake. But now if you have all time a lot of doubt, but I think it's normal. I come from there also. It will destroy your relationship. I will in another video talk about this trust issues in the pre-marital time, the pre-marriage time, because it's damn not important. I had been here, and it's a really big issues in relationship with Eastern European women, and I think most of the time in international dating when you are far. But now the biggest question is, you have understood the rules that I have proposed to you, and now your big question is, okay, but I understood, but me, what I should do, how much? And how much you think, okay, I'm earning this, I believe she's earning this, so I should give this. And that's a big headache for you. I understand. I have been in the same position. I have been married, so when I was dating my ex-wife, we had something like, when we were engaged, we had six travel. I came 3 times more, and she came to France 3 times, 6. I had set up some rules. The first rules important is not what you earn. Forget about this. We don't care about how much you earn. Even if you earn, I would say, a 6-7 figure per month, per year, sorry, I don't care. Because you will think, okay, I make a $20,000 per month, 20,000. So you are probably in the USA on the top 1 or 2 top earners of the population. Oh, I'm happy for you. And now you think, if I don't look like a cheapsake, I should give probably 2,000, 3,000. No! No, 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 no. If you start to think like this, that will be a nightmare. So now I will explain why, and we come back to the example of this young Ukrainian translator who said, you should give $500 the first month and 2,000 after. So I will explain why. Because if you give $2,000 to a woman who usually had a paycheck of 3 or 4 or 5, you multiply by 4, by 5 purchase power in 1 minute. She can live like a queen in Ukraine with this amount of money. And now she comes to the USA to live with you. And we are $2,000. She starts to think that you are just a cheapsake, a greedy man, and this is the kiss of death, when a former Soviet Union think that a man is a real cheapsake. Because with this $2,000 now in the USA, considering the price, what happened? She don't have the same purchase power than she had with her $2,000 in Ukraine. And now she would make some pressure on you. So you give her more money in the USA, probably $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 per month, just to fancy her life. We don't speak about taxes, electricity, rental, paying the insurance. No, she don't care about this. This is your problem. So you start to understand right now that you are aiming for disaster. Because I'm pretty sure that the young Ukrainian interpreter with an idea of $2,000 per month in Ukraine for a monthly allowance don't have any idea about what is the life in the USA, in Europe, in Canada, or in Australia. I suppose even if she had traveled there, even if she has stayed 1 or 2 or 3 months or 6 months in England for a tuition in English, she has never worked. She don't know the level of taxes. And in France here we have a high level. So she has no idea about what's going on. She don't have the dual cultural and economical life that I could have had myself, and I come from 3 cultures. What will happen? You will have a lot of fight. First of all, giving $5,000, $6,000 or $7,000 per month to a woman so she can fancy her life. You do not need to be already rich. And you have break up the rules to set up limits. You should set up limits with the former Soviet Union, or you will be eaten alive. One of the reasons of divorce is money. Question about money. It's not necessary that people suddenly are very poor and they divorce because of this. Yes, it can happen. But one of the reasons of divorce is that people are fighting around the topic of money because they have some fundamental disagreement, or the situation has changed and now they start to fight about this. So if you set up such and follow such rules to give the $500 first month of allowance and $2,000 after, you will face a lot of fights into your couple, because with the former Soviet Union you need financially to set up the limit and the rules, and you are the one and the only one, and because you are the money and because of the culture, you are the man, you are the provider, you have to set up those limits. And when you give such crazy amount of money or $2,000, you don't set up the limit. You just say to the woman, look, I'm rich enough, you can fancy my credit card and you can take a lot of money and you can do whatever you want. You entitle her to a crazy life, because those $2,000, it's a lot of purchase power in Ukraine. It will be worse later in your Western life. And now you look at me and you think, okay guy, but you still didn't tell us how much I should, what is reasonable, what is fair to do. The question and the answer is all in what is she earning. It's not about how much you have, how much you earn. I don't care about if you feel guilty because you make $20,000 and you only give $100 or $200. I don't care about this. If you have such problem with this, you need to reset your frame. You need to maybe to get more knowledge about what is to be a red pilot, to get more knowledge about what is exactly the game and seduction and so on, and you need to reset some boundaries. Because if you have no boundary, I just told you just a few minutes before that you will be eaten alive, especially with former Soviet Union. You need to set up the limit. Now, about how much, and to really answer to the question, I would give you an example with my ex-wife. She was making $500 a paycheck, or 600, which was pretty good, pretty good. And I thought, okay, what I can do. I thought she had spent 1 week with me, so she took some vacation from her employer, and most of the time in Ukraine they don't have a lot of holidays. So maybe she took some days and she's not paid for this. And I cannot come and let her without replacing this money she has lost because of me. For me, this is not a moral. This is morally not acceptable. This is unacceptable to let a woman financially suffer from her dating. So I need at least to replace the loss she could have met. That was exactly my thinking. So I was giving her, I don't remember exactly, probably $120, $150 before leaving for 1 week we have spent together. Of course, during this week I was paying for everything because this is the dating rule in Russia and in Ukraine. So I repeat, the first parameter is how much is she earning. Richer she is, and less money you have to provide and to give to her. When you go, you can help her financially from time to time. You can buy some gifts, a watch. If you have a project and this is about a marriage and she will come, it's a question of months or maybe 1 year, you need to understand that maybe it's stupid to replace and pay for replacing the washing machine, because she will probably not take this washing machine in the plane to come with you. So maybe you can buy her a nice watch, something that she likes, and give from time to time when you come an amount of money. So, for example, if she's earning, and there are quite a lot of, unfortunately, women like this in Ukraine, $200 or $300, you need to understand that when you give some money and it's $200, you are multiplying your purchase power by 60%. In the end, in the case you give some money monthly, and I'm against this. If you give some money and she has an increase of 50% of purchase power, believe me, on a daily basis, it changed a lot of things. But I'm against this story of monthly allowance. I think that you shouldn't do such a thing. You will face a lot of expenses when she will move into your country. And if you give her a too much level of purchase power, too much money, because of this difference of economy and culture and prices, you will set up a false expectation universe in those women. They will think that you have give her a total clearance to buy and to live like a princess and to burn your credit card as they want. And you will suffer from a lot of problem and a lot of fight. And in my opinion, you have a lot of chances to wreck up your future marriage. And some of those Ukrainian or Russian women, if you start to date them like this, they will play the spoiled little princess which is generally on the long term really not really appealing and really live with such type of woman is absolutely not a happy time, that will be your fault. If you give such amount of money on a monthly allowance, you will be the responsible of the likely, for my opinion, disasters that will happen later on your soul. So you need to understand that every time the man is playing the throw money away like water, you, generally speaking, suffer the consequences, a day or another. So you need to review your usual dating and what you were used to do this way. One of the rules about women in the Western world, they don't tell you what they think and they don't think what they say. In the former Soviet Union, the women are really more frank about many things. But about the topic of money, they have the same level of in the ground shield. And this shield is when a young Ukrainian woman is telling you, you should give, this is a fantasy, you should give an allowance of $2,000. This is a fantasy. In a Disney world, a lot of women will have like this. And I watched a lot of interviews on the avenue and the street in Ukraine, and I watched carefully what they were saying about the money and how much the man should give her. I disagree. This is what they expect, but you need to separate it, the world of expectation and the world of reality. And you shouldn't follow their fantasy. You are the arbiter, you are the one who, of course, do this fairly. You shouldn't be a cheapsake, but you should set up some rules, and the rules are not the ones that you believe. And the rules are surely not the ones that this young lady was telling you. Drop your comment. Yeah, drop your comment about what you have heard and what do you think about your experience with women and what you have done and so on.